What's going on, everybody? BobbyFi and Eric Sheetshaber. We're going to be talking through today's early slate. We've got a little 5-gamer. It's actually a decent slate. Unfortunately, all the tournaments were sold out basically by the time I woke up. So I don't have anything good going on in there. I'm just trying to get one lineup into the secondary whatever thing. We're still going to talk it through. Sheets obviously.
Well, we can probably get through both slates if you want.
Okay. All right. We can go through it.
I made notes on all of it, so we could do it all.
Cool. Yeah. Whatever works.
You do any good yesterday or no?
Yeah, I won a little bit. It was another profitable day where I can't quite get the big wins going, but felt like it was going to happen again. It was just keep getting off these flying starts with these Torontos and Yankees every day, but then it sort of stalled out with me for Toronto, and then the Cincinnati stack ended up overtaking most of mine. So. Toronto I liked because it was it was like sub 5% owned stack, and they were just going to town early on and didn't score much after that. How about you?
Been pretty hot. Yeah, no, I didn't do well in baseball, but I took down the tennis solo again yesterday.
Again?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I posted on there. Yeah, this time I took down by myself for 10K.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, let's go.
And I can't do any better than build it exactly live like it was what I did yesterday.
Yeah, so if you guys really take a look at what Sheets is doing, because this is obviously working. This tennis has been dominating.
But tennis is hard. I mean, it's deceptively hard because the thing is, it's the easiest sport to project. So right. Even if you make your own or whatever, it's very, very difficult to get a different projection. So it really does come down to funky lineup construction and that type of stuff, which is why I play, which makes it fun.
Right.
So and I was fortunate enough to smash with that yesterday. So I really encourage everybody just follow the YouTube channel, okay? Because I've been posting kind of like just weird, different series as I kind of dream them up. The way it's been working is tennis has been the slate has been starting at 11 a.m. Eastern, which just by accident is a time that I can spend a little time on it at like 10:40, so that I've been doing like my lineup construction, and then from like 11 to like 11:05, I actually review like whatever, and I've been doing what they call like dupe push-ups, where every lineup that I have that's duped, I owe a push-up, and I do it live on camera. Yesterday, well, I can't really do it live on camera because it doesn't like spin down so much, but I count it off as I'm doing it on the other side of the chair. Yesterday, I almost threw my shoulder out. I had to do like 27 push-ups. I can't do 27 push-ups. I had to do like 3 sets of 9 to make it work.
Well, I can't do anything with the tennis, but I think I can help you with the push-ups. I'm a pretty good push-up guy. So
yeah. No, well, you know what? I'm not going to learn if I don't, have to suffer.
No, I know. But you'll feel bad making me do hundreds of them if you get that many dupes. So.
Yeah, but so anyway. But no good in baseball. So let's get it going.
Yep. So
right off the bat, you have what's his name? You have Patrick Corbin, and it's a weird spot, because on the one hand you want to stack against Patrick Corbin, and on the other hand you want to play pitchers against Colorado. So it's interesting. Like I have Colorado right now as like one of my top 3 stacks. I also do have Corbin as like a secondary option though. I have what's his name? We'll get there, I guess. But I have one pitcher that kind of stands out. And it's maybe not who you think, I guess. And then, but I do have Colorado as one of my top stacks, and I have Washington as one of my as maybe one of the second best stack. I'm not sure, but I do like both bats, and I don't know. Maybe I'll play Corbin as a second pitcher. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So I'm open to the idea. I think there's a lot of different ways you can go on this slate. Nobody sort of projects all that great pitching wise, even though you have some decent pitchers. There's nobody with that especially high. You can see this. I'll just go to the sort by strikeout expected. You have a bunch of guys in the 5s, including Corbin, by the way, at a cheap price. And you're gonna get some ownership on him. I am siding with the Colorado side of it myself. You could make a strong case for a lot of these pitchers today. the guys who I sort of landed up with, I've only built one lineup because, like I said, there wasn't very many tournaments left by the time I got there. So I like the Steele is my favorite. I like Springs, and I like Springs, Peralta, and I guess because of Tampa Bay's been so bad, I would have some interest in Bido. But I actually like Tampa Bay, and I'm going back to the well, though. That'll be better hitting for the day anyway. But still, it doesn't feel great because it's just been ugliness in that whole series offensively. So I think either pitcher in that game, you got a lot of good pitching options. So yeah. But that's sort of what I'm doing anyway. I like the Steele, the Springs, and the Peralta the best, I think. But Steele and Springs are probably going to be what I end up with.
Yeah, so you pivoted on me. So I was going to go game by game and put.
I didn't know. Usually when we do the morning ones, we don't.
I was going to do the suspense to see who my top pitcher was, but you already covered one.
Sorry,
no, that's fine. So anyway, so Cleveland at Yankees. I actually had tickets to this game, but when they moved it to 1 o'clock, I couldn't go. So in any case, I have Cole as not the best today, and I guess you kind of just touched on that. I have him as like one of my secondary options, but I do like him, but I don't have him rated at the top. Mm-hmm. I do have the Yankees rated as one of the top stacks, but again, you have Cleveland bullpen is kind of rough, but the Yankees have been hitting the ball pretty good to say the least. I heard some really weird stat that something like maybe the last 7 hits of Juan Soto were home runs or something like that.
That's crazy if that's true. I didn't.
Yeah.
No, he had a double yesterday. He had a double.
Oh, he did? Okay, maybe that broke the streak.
It was a 3-run double for what it's worth, so it looked like a home run.
There you go. So I do like the Yankees. I haven't built yet. I'm going to build once we get off of this, but I don't have Cole rated higher than say, and we'll get this. I guess Steele, you already mentioned. I have Steele rated the best. So
same here.
We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah. Okay.
You like the Yankees? You like Cole? What do you like here?
I think Cole it's probably one of the worst matchups for him. I don't really play right-handed pitchers against Cleveland, but it's a small slate, so I have no issue if you want to play Cole. He has not pitched well, particularly against this lineup in the past, and doesn't have any numbers that stand out as being like a obvious target spot. But I think I would rather take my chances against Detroit with Steele. But I'm fine with Cole if people wanted to go that way. And the Yankees, again, probably going to end up a little higher owned than the projections are. That just seems to be the case. Yesterday, I don't think any site that I saw had any projections within like half of, like the Yankees were literally like triple, double, triple, quadruple what people were projecting them to be. So, the projections have been a little bit funky when it comes to the Yankees for some reason lately. But they're going to be popular. They're not going to be that popular. They're going to be popular enough. I think they'll be more than this. And I'm not especially. I'm open to it, but I don't think it's like clear in a way the best stack. I'm sort of siding with some of the later stacks myself. And we can. Any thoughts you want to touch on that one, or before we move on to the next one?
No, we're good.
Okay. Colorado, Washington, Corbin and Quantrill. We talked a little bit about this when I thought we were just doing a general overlook, but as we mentioned, Corbin is definitely viable more than probably he has been in a few years. And at the same time, I find myself gravitating towards the Colorado stack. That's just me personally. What are you doing here?
That's what I said that already. Yeah.
I think we did. I know.
Yeah, Colorado and Washington, I have as both very, very viable stacks. Probably my top 2. We'll get to the other one in a minute, but are we supposed to play Quantrill? I don't know, but Corbin, as I mentioned, is showing up as a decent value for me.
Yeah. And Alan's pointing out that in the Cleveland game that Ramirez and Naylor have good numbers against Cole. Well, it's not a huge sample size, but Naylor's 6 for 23, but he does have 3 home runs. That's fair enough. If you're not playing Cole, I don't mind if you want to take a bat against him for what it's worth. Going back to that one. All right, Milwaukee, St. Louis, Peralta, Mikolas, the game that sort of blew up a lot of different things yesterday by scoring all their runs in like the 7th inning or later, it felt like. What do you think here with Peralta? I have Peralta as my number 3. And I don't think I'm getting to much of the hitting today. If I did, it would be on the Milwaukee side, but I don't think I'm going to get there. How about you?
That sounds about right for me, at least. I mean, I have Peralta kind of alongside of these other guys, but below Steele. So I guess calling him third makes sense. And I like Milwaukee here. They rate pretty nicely for me. So if I get to them, I'll be actually pretty content with that.
Yeah, fair enough. It's just they're gonna be a little owned, and I sort of jumped away from it. But I do think Milwaukee makes some sense against just the straight up with the matchup against Mikolas. All right, Detroit and Chicago, Steele and what we don't even know. And again, it happened yesterday. And shout out to Leonidas. He had a good day yesterday. Nice to see. He had a pitcher. He had a good day with a pitcher who did not pitch. And as I pointed out when we did our show, as I pointed out in the live show, do not expect Kenta Maeda to pitch when he's projected to pitch out of the long relief. It's the fourth time since the All-Star break he's been projected to pitch. He has not pitched in any of those games that he was projected. He's pitched in other games where he wasn't projected to pitch. And now I'm seeing some sites projecting to pitch today, some pitch sites not. I am not going to touch anything from Detroit long relief the rest of the season. There is no way I'm doing it, period. So I just wanted to announce that. Regardless of who gets announced in for Detroit here, I'm not doing anything like that. So, yeah, I like Steele. I like the Cubs.
I like Steele, and I like the Cubs a little bit as well. I have a feeling that on a short slate, you know what's going to happen. You'll probably end up getting Detroit because they're cheap again. So again, it's just if you use Sabersim, whatever, it's just a decision you're going to have to make like all the time. I mean, literally all the time. Like whether you play the cheap value stacks against the best pitcher. And my answer to that is usually it just depends on how many lineups you play. You know, play one lineup. There's just no. It's like when I got lucky in that other tournament. You know, you play some like 70-person tournament, whatever. There's just no need to do that.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, but
we're saying that, but you won the freaking tournament.
Well, that's what I was saying. You know what I mean? I got lucky and won it, whatever. But you don't. But I'm saying we went over that tournament.
Yeah, for sure.
You just don't need to play that way. That's the best thing I can say. But Steele definitely looks like the best play. I'm not really getting to the Cubs too much, but I'm just saying that the way I've been playing, I'm going to end up with some Detroit. They're cheap and boy, this same Baez is oh my God, he's hitting ninth. This poor guy, what happened to him? Huh?
Oh, he's been gone. He's been off the radar for a while now. He's like a 200 hitter with But hey, a little revenge back in Chicago. Maybe.
Why not?
Why not on a weird little slate? And I'll go back to it again. I don't think you need to overwhelm Stacky on this slate. The difference on this slate is outside of Soto and Judge, there aren't like two guys I really feel like, okay, well, that's the guy I really need to play on this slate. You know what I mean? We don't have the Otanis and the what's his name, the Ellie De La Cruz or the Gunnar Hendersons, Bobby Witts. Those guys aren't on this slate. So I don't feel as strongly that you need to like prioritize these exact hitters. But if you wanted to, you certainly don't need to worry as much about stacking on these slates. We've seen plenty of 5-game slates where you literally have like no stack correlation. I'm going to have a 4-4. That's my only build today. And leading into this last game, that's what I'm going with. I have Springs, and I'm a little concerned because we got him at like 79 pitches, but he's a pretty good strikeout pitcher. It's also an Oakland team that hits lefties better than righties. So I could see a lot of cases being made for this game. Personally, this is my favorite game to attack from both sides hitting wise. And to get no ownership on the A's seems like, okay, that's something you could do to give yourself a chance in the lottery. So I feel like the A's are a terrific lottery team. And I think Tampa Bay has been horrible offensively. I still am going to take another crack at it at these really cheap prices. It is what it is. That's what I'm doing.
You know, I like Oakland as well. And I just wonder if instead of I mentioned that whenever you see like a really chalk pitcher like this, Sabersim always tries to recommend these big pivots against it. And we talked about the tournament that I won a couple of days ago where I say that we didn't need to play that way, but I don't know, maybe you do need to play that way. I really have no idea. It doesn't seem right. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't seem like you have to do that in 70-person slates, but I mean, I've heard theory when it comes to like NFL, for example, single entry, that you are supposed to be pretty contrarian because the ownership in single entry is so freaking wildly chalky.
Yeah.
You get one pivot right, maybe you're supposed to do that. I don't
Well,
know.
to touch on that, especially for NFL, first of all, those single entry tournaments have 10 times the amount of people that they have in the tournament.
That's true. That's true.
That's a big reason. I super support that for NFL, especially.
Yeah.
But I actually like that idea for single entry too. But it's like if you play the lottery and you've got a bunch of 5%ers, that's still hundreds of lineups you're going up against.
That's
if you play it in those, you're talking about like 10 lineups you're going up against. So you give yourself a much better chance. So I can kind of get behind that way of thinking. I think it's easy to talk about, but like everything else, it's kind of slate dependent for me.
Yeah.
So that's my sum up for this thing is going to be the very straightforward. I like Tampa Bay a little bit. I like Oakland a little bit. I like Colorado a lot. And I personally will be playing some sort of combination of Tyon. I'm sorry, Tyon. That was from yesterday. Of Steele, Peralta, and Springs.
The main slate is actually, I mean, I'm gonna say interesting. I mean, we'll talk about it right now, but like the pitching there is like so just top heavy and loaded. I don't know. I'd love to know how we're gonna get different here on this slate. Let me pull it up on my screen as well. But it's easier for you to do it today.
Yeah, that's fine.
We could go game by game if you want, but let's get right started with the chalk right off the bat.
Yeah, it's gonna be massive. I mean, I think these guys are gonna be even higher on the season schemes. And I guess if you wanted to get like frisky because it's a small slate, maybe you take like an LE in some lineup against Skeens or something like that. Or maybe
that's not the worst idea in the world, huh?
Yeah, you pick up like a home run. You know, you're gonna get like, look at these Cincinnati ownerships, and I bet you they even end up lower than this. I've played against Skeens before a couple of bats, and literally it's like it was Ohtani at 0.5% ownership. Ohtani never is 0.5% on. But yeah, Skeens to me is the best pitcher on the slate. I actually think Lodolo is a really good option. The problem is I can't say that it's not very clear that C's and Skeens are the best, but maybe you could argue for just taking the pitchers from this game. What do you think, Sheets?
Yeah, you always come up with a little more Lodolo than the field. Like the Lodolo Abbott combinations. It's just, listen, if you're gonna get different, I mean, you have to figure out some way to play something other than Cease and Skeens. So I'm kind of down with anything, honestly.
Sure. Yeah, so I mean, and I think Lodolo is, I mean, to back it up, Pittsburgh, not great against lefties, top 10 strikeout, one of the top 10 strikeout teams against lefties in baseball. Lodolo has good stuff. I'll take a quick look and see their history against each other. Lodolo has good strikeout stuff. He's projected at almost 6Ks. So for example, to give reference, like Lodolo has a higher strikeout prop higher strikeout expectancy than anybody on the early slate. So it's a totally reasonable spot. He's only faced the Tigers twice. He was very good both times. I'm sorry, the Pirates twice. And I think I could just play both pitchers in this game. Or if I wasn't going to do it and I wanted to feel a little frisky, I do think I could talk myself into like an Ellie De La Cruz against as a one-off. I mean, he's cheaper today because of Skeens is 58 instead of 63. It's still really expensive, but either he or Friedel or Steer or one of these guys, the home run upside, I think taking one batter like that, if you wanted to get a little different, is something that's worth considering.
Now, I'm not saying I'm going to be able to make this calculation, or certainly I don't know if I'll remember to do it, but maybe someone else can do this. How? Because I'm suspecting that people that would play Cruz with Skeens would be more than you would expect. Like where normally it'd be like 0, whatever, on like a 12 game slate or whatever. So I want what percent of lineups are gonna have, that's my quiz, my question.
0.
Skeens and De La Cruz together. You think it's more than one?
I think it's like, I mean, out of 10,000, maybe it'll be more than one, but not out
I'm
of
talking about 1%.
Oh no way. No, not even
Less than 1%.
Yeah, you don't need to pitch. If you're going to take a hitter against your pitcher, you shouldn't be picking a guy who's 6K.
That's the point. Oh, okay, because the price. Okay.
Yeah, but he does have the stolen base upside that gets there. But the problem is, it's a 5-gamer. If it was a 3-gamer,
that's what I'm saying. So less than 1%. So let's say, okay, so maybe like 0.5%. I mean, it's got to be somebody will do it, right?
Somebody probably will do it, but my guess, to be honest, is it's probably going to be by accident if someone does it. I don't think anybody's got it for it.
So right off the bat now, and then you get the other piece of the chalk, and that would be the Toronto hitting, right? Next, they do nothing but score 30 runs, and they're at home against Canning, right? So Toronto with Skeens and Cease, if you get them in, is like that's the way to play, I suppose. The way to play if you want to play like everybody else is playing. No, I haven't looked at the actual prices. Can you get Toronto in with those two guys or not really?
Toronto's not expensive.
Oh, I didn't check. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're just super. They're actually like cheap.
Oh well, look at all these guys. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, only Guerrero is expensive, and even he's not that expensive. So Toronto's going to be popular. I would just not make a 5-man stack of Toronto. I would X out 5-man stacks from Toronto on a 5-game slate where they're going to have
for ownership or for
ownership.
Okay. That makes sense.
I actually think what I would do, and then this is the other idea I had of getting creative. It feels kind of crazy, but I would consider throwing a Canning or 2 lineup out there. Maybe even more than that. Just again, you want to differentiate your types of builds. You've got a 9K. You've got the 9K guys who are going to be popular. If they don't play them, they're going to play Lodolo. You want a really cheap guy who Toronto's been scoring like crazy. Canning has been really bad his last 2 starts, but look, he put up 25 to start before that. It's not like there's never a chance for a ceiling for him. It just takes a lot to get there. And it's a 5-game slate, so I wouldn't mention this if it was like literally 8 games, anything like that. It would not even come up for me. But at 5K, I think you could at least consider Canning, who, if things are going well, will get to his 90 to 100 pitches. I think it's worth just gambling on that, as far as I'm concerned, a little bit. But again, I'm not saying play a bunch. If you're max entering, I would say like 10% would be a good number for Canning, just to get over the field. But overall, I think I would actually side with maybe playing some of the Angels today, just because I think you'll get lower ownership. But even that's not low enough to where it feels like the right play. So I guess this game is probably, for me, not going to be a game that I end up with outside of a little bit of Canning as a super contrarian play.
Okay, so Houston, Baltimore. If we're going to presume that Toronto and Skeens and Cease are going to be the chalk combinations, and by definition everything else is kind of a pivot, I believe that all 4 prongs of this game are completely in play. You have pitchers that have upside that don't always do it. And you have 2 sets of bats that have incredible upside as well. So I think all 4 prongs of this game can be very, very viable pivots and should be considered part of all your lineups.
Yeah, I certainly can get behind, especially the hitting side of it. I can definitely get behind Baltimore. I don't think I really want to stack against Burns, but look, it worked the last time out. He got crushed by Boston. He's been pretty bad pretty just blah since the All-Star break. For what it's worth, he did start the All-Star game, so he's obviously having a great season. I think Burns with his ownership. I'm just saying, like, the one thing we know about Houston, they just don't strike out like against righties. And I just probably just use that as a reason not to do it. And Arrighetti, though, against Baltimore, I think is more interesting just because of the lack of ownership and the price difference. So I could talk myself into some Arrighetti, but I actually would side with the Baltimore hitting here. And just to see where they're going to be at. Yeah, they're getting decent ownership, but I think they're very valuable today, the Baltimore side of things. And oddly enough, Arrighetti and Baltimore are my 2 favorite parts of those prongs. But those obviously not in the same lineups. All right, Philadelphia. It's like a turbo slate with the one opportunity late swap, the San Diego New York game later.
It's
All right.
the big C late night hammer, huh?
Yeah, exactly. You switch him over. We'll talk about it in a minute, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. So you have you got
Go ahead.
Schwellenbach, who's always a pivot. You always, and I think it's totally reasonable. Philly, yeah, maybe, I don't know. Sanchez, again, everything's going to be low owned, so I can't really say that they're bad plays. But I think Schwellenbach's reasonable here. So I'll say Schwellenbach as maybe a secondary option if you don't want to play Skeens or Cease, or I mean just not the two of them. Atlanta, Philly. I mean, I hate to just be like this, but anything except for Toronto and those two pitchers are viable today.
Yeah. I would say that pitching wise, I worry a little bit about this matchup for both. Chris Sanchez has been awful on the road all season long. He's really been terrible. For what it's worth, can you play him? Sure. Am I going to play him? Probably not. And at the same time, Atlanta doesn't exactly strike the same fear in you that they once did. So I kind of get the argument for that one. Schwellenbach here against Philadelphia, I think I would rather just play Philly. They're expensive. It's going to be hard to get them in. That's why their ownership's going to be low. So if you can find a way to get Philly in, I think that's a stack that I could certainly talk myself into. But and by the way, I could talk myself into Atlanta. So I actually think I would side more with the hitting in this game than the pitching. So two decent pitchers. It's Atlanta though. It's 81 degrees and good hitters park. Why not? It's just the problem is on the Philadelphia side, you're just talking about some guys who are really, really expensive. The Braves are much cheaper. They're supposed to have Merrifield and Laureano at 1-2. They're 34 and 3,200. Yeah, I think that's definitely a way to go. All right, we will close it out here with the Mets in San Diego. Thursdays are always a little deadish for baseball. I actually sometimes question whether or not doing the morning and the night thing is very viable because like people just don't show up on Thursdays the same way that they do for other things. But we've got enough people in there right now just checking it out. So guys, please click the like button. We still want to keep doing these videos for free and does help us quite a bit. So we'd appreciate that. All right, Cease and Severino in San Diego, Sheets.
So Cease is the second best player, whatever. Him and Skeens are the pairing if you can afford them. And as we've gone over, you probably can. How about Severino at 6,800 just for funsies? Now I don't think I have it in me to just complete late swap Cease for Severino without anything else in there. But I don't know. Have I done worse? Maybe I haven't done worse.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, Severino just threw a complete game shutout in his last start. He's been, that's better than anything Cease has done. Well, actually, Cease had that one monster game against Washington. But
I mean, I'll tell you this: if you're stone dead, I mean, you may as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just hope it.
Right.
And I think this is the kind of slate where you could. It sucks. You're traveling cross country. It feels such an obvious spot for Cease. You're going to get some ownership on San Diego, but like literally nobody's going to play the Mets.
Right.
And I think that would be the contrarians, like the super contrarian.
Like that instead of Cincinnati.
Instead of Cincinnati, I don't want Cincinnati as a stack against right. Skeens, but I don't mind like a bat here and there against Cease, who we've seen him have those blow up games where he gets wild plenty of times over the last few years. It hasn't happened as much this year, but it's still in the realm of possibility. So maybe it's something you could try. I don't love that they're flying cross country and then playing the next day and all that stuff, but it is something that I think I could talk myself into on a slate where I'm determined to get a little bit weird, at least as a mini stack, if not a full stack. What do you think about that idea?
Yeah, I'm sure I'll get there.
I'm sure Saberson will get you there.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll get there.
In fact, let's just run one quick. You got to go within a minute to finish your builds, but I'm just going to run one quick. We'll just do 2,000, and I'm just going to run one quick build and see what Saberson gets. Let's go do this. I realize I should probably stop doing I wish I could just see it. Let's just do this. We'll make 6. And we'll just make it 7.4. Okay. All right. Let's see what it's going to give us. Any predictions, Sheets?
Ugh.
Is it going to be the Mets?
Yeah.
I didn't add a specific sim, so I think you're right because you know this stuff better than I do.
I think so.
But I'm going to guess it's going to be the Mets, and I'm going to guess schemes will be like 90%. And I'm also going to pick the other one that they're going to say is, I think there'll be some Angels, and I think there'll be some Baltimore.
Let's see.
All right.
We're just running the straight lineups right now, right?
Yeah. All right.
Let's see. Let's see what we got.
Exposure. Wait, there we go. I always forget that I moved my exposure. All right. So Cease 86%, schemes only 33%. So now we know what they're going to do, right? I think you're going to see Cincinnati in there some. Wait.
Philly.
Philly is the one. Okay. Interesting. I can get behind Philly today for sure. And the Angels second, as that was the other one I thought they would get to, and they did not get to the Baltimore. They did get to the Houstons. Baltimore, I guess they did. They're not getting there because of the thing. But it's interesting that because I feel like I would go the scenes
right.
Right.
Do this. I'm going to try to just direct you.
Okay.
Go to settings.
Yep.
Scroll down a little bit. I can't really see because of the screen. You see contest sim settings somewhere?
Yeah, I'll do the contest sim. Okay.
Yeah, and then
We'll
hit
do the
add
lottery.
contest. Yeah. Just pick a lottery or something. Yeah, right there. Relay throw. You missed it.
I missed it.
Yeah, there it is, right there.
Okay.
And then wait. Okay. And now go back to lineups. And now hit that thing that's green.
You want me to? Yeah. I know this part. I do this.
Okay.
I've got a lot more experience than the last time we talked about it.
Okay. No, this is what I want to see as opposed to the just the straight savers and bills. Let's see.
But I find that it sometimes is different if I rebuild all the lineups. Let's see. Still about the same.
No, you didn't sort yet. So go to the go to the right up that setting that thing there.
Yeah.
Wait. Now scroll down. No. Arrow under small slate. Arrow under small slate to the right. Down. Yep. And then flagship MME. And then risk adjusted ROI. And then there you go. Okay, so now here we go.
Okay, and then we've got the schemes scrolling. So yeah, they did go lower on C's here, and
go to team stacks,
and it's going to be the Mets.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah, you're right.
There it is.
All right. Well, there you have it, guys. We'll be live. I think we can still go live at 6. It's not that much to cover for a 5-timer. So we'll be live at 6, and Sheets is going to be gone. Reminder tomorrow and through the weekend. And good luck. Yeah, hopefully he has a great
if you guys watch the MMA card, watch for me. I'll be there.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for Sheets for the MMA. So good luck to everybody today, and check out the packages we have offering before football. We've got some great stuff out there. So check it out.